So if we're going to draw a diagram for producer surplus, we would draw our demand and supply diagram in the normal way, and we would put in our point of equilibrium, which we can see here is PE/QE, PE being the market price. Producer surplus is the difference between the price a producer is willing to sell at compared to the market price. The key principle that underlies supply is that the profit motive will ensure that as the price rises, suppliers are more willing to supply their products to market because they have the potential to make a high level of profit. So let's consider a price of P1, which as we can see is significantly below the market price. There are still suppliers willing to supply, but they would only supply up to the level of Q1. If the price was to rise to P2, then the number of suppliers in that market would rise, and so would the quantity supplied to Q2. So if we consider the whole area of producer surplus to be all of those decisions, we can see that it is the triangle below equilibrium, which is the area that I'm shading in now. And as we move closer and closer towards the market price, as you can see, the area grew smaller and smaller because suppliers at Q2, had less producer surplus than those at lower prices. Now we know that markets are very dynamic, and so over time things can change in a market. So let's imagine that there was an outward shift of demand, potentially because of a successful advertising campaign, for example, and that would shift the price. So let's imagine that the price has risen to P4, which would increase the quantity in that market to Q4. Now, as you can see, and as to be expected, the triangle has grown. So if I was to shade that in a different colour, and here we'll do it in red diagonals, you can see that the triangle below equilibrium has grown in size. And we would expect that because the producer surplus has grown within that market as the price has risen. So the key learning point here is that for producer surplus, we're looking for a triangle below equilibrium. In exams, the key words to look out for are new and original producer surplus. If they say either of those two things, you will be looking for a triangle. However, they might say what is the difference or the increase or the change in producer surplus. Now, what you should be able to see by what I'm doing here in blue is the difference is this shape here, a trapezium, and that is the increase in producer surplus that has been caused by the increase in price. A point to note in exams is that you will be better off writing in black pen, and you will be instructed to do so, and so it is difficult to do different colours, but you can crosshatch with your shading, or you can put letters. So for example, I could have put a C there and an A there, and therefore I could have said that the original the original producer surplus was perhaps PEEA, and the new area was P4CA, and so the difference was P4PEEC. So I think as long as you're careful about how you show it in an exam situation, then you would be very clearly showing your knowledge of producer surplus.